What is going on, guys? This is Crozen, and welcome to another Starfield build. I call this one the Heavy Weapons and Demolitions Tank. So it's essentially a tank build where we're going to be specializing in two types of weapons, those being heavy weapons, so weapons such as the minigun, and then also demolitions. So we're not only going to have really high explosive damage, but our grenade launchers are just going to be insane. It's probably one of my favorite types of weapons in this game, so it's amazing that they stack with the demolitions perk. But you're not only limited to just those two types of weapons, you could use any type of ballistic weapon with this build, and you're going to have an enormous amount of survivability. So we're going to have a really high damage resistance to all types of damage, whether that be energy weapons, ballistic weapons, explosive damage. It really makes you a tank. Not only that, but you're going to have a really good passive healing outside of combat, and then you're going to be able to heal so quickly in combat that you're basically invincible with this build. So yeah, I'm happy to showcase this build to you guys at level 60, so yeah, let's get into it. Starting out with our background, we're going to select File Not Found. You could also go for Bounty Hunter here, since we're going to be using all of these starting skills. I just feel that File Not Found really fits the vibe of this tank build. And then for traits, we're going to go with Dream Home, Hero Worshipped, and Kid Stuff. If you want to be a little bit more experimental with this build, you could try out Alien DNA, since you will start with increased health. Your healing just won't be as effective, but we will be going with the Medicine perk, which will increase our healing effectiveness, so it might kind of counter the downside to using this trait. So if you want to be more experimental, you could just swap out one of these traits and go for Alien DNA. Otherwise, just stick with these three, as they're probably the most safest for this build. Now we're going to look at our perks all the way up to level 60. So I'm going to try to guide you guys the best I can with giving you some priority as far as which of these trees you want to go with first. So we're going to start with the physical tree. Just keep note that there's a lot of good tech skills here that you want to get early on as well. So just because I'm going over the physical tree first doesn't mean I want you to spend all of your points on physical early. So I'm just going to show you physical first, because these are really the tank skills that you're going to need. So we start out with one rank early with wellness thanks to our background. So you only need to level this up 3 times. You probably want to do this one early, that way you get that max HP up by 40%, and then you could go for pain tolerance right after that, because physical damage reduction is always good. I think that this is more beneficial than, say, energy weapon dissipation early, simply because there aren't as many energy weapons as there are physical weapons, so you're probably going to see more benefit from pain tolerance than energy weapon dissipation. Either way, you want to max out all 3 of these skill trees in order to get to 12 points. That way you can get the rejuvenation perk. Just keep in mind that the last 2 ranks in rejuvenation are broken. They actually don't heal you while you're in combat, so at least on PC. So I'm hoping that this gets patched, and if it does, then this build is going to be even better. But either way, rejuvenation is really good because you never have to use a med pack outside of combat. You're basically going to heal up to the max every time outside of a fight, and it's pretty damn good even with its broken state. So I definitely would recommend you guys to focus on these early. Just don't go, focusing on all of these perks and neglect the tech tree. So we're going to go over that one here pretty soon. But then also, I did get 1 point in stealth just to unlock the stealth meter. It's really up to you when you want to get this. You might not even want to get this at all, since we're really never going to use stealth. But if you want a stealth meter, because let's say you want to steal something, then you could go for 1 rank in stealth. Next up is the tech tree, and you guys are probably seeing a pattern by now. I just love going for these perks in basically any build, at least up to Starship Design. So boost pack training, so important. It gives you the best skills for boost packs. You gotta have that. You gotta have 4 out of 4 piloting in order to get the best ships. I like going for 3 points in security in order to be able to basically hack master level locks. I find that essential. And then also targeting control systems. The first rank here is super important if you want to target engines on ships in order to take them over. So I would definitely recommend to focus on at least 1 point in targeting control systems pretty early. And then we also go for starship design to put the best mods on our ships. So what I would do is I would focus on getting 12 points in any of these categories that you want here. And then as soon as you get 12 points into this tree, go straight for boost assault training, max this out because it's really going to change the way you play this build. Slowing down time while you're aiming is just nuts. It's like one of those perks where once you try it out, you want to use this on just about any build. And with this build, slowing down time just means that you're going to basically have so much more survivability because the bullets just aren't even going to get to you. So it's very important you get this. It's going to make you more tankier, and it's just going to be a lot of fun to use. The third tree we're going to look at here is the combat tree, and we already start with 1 point in ballistics. You just want to go ahead, max this out to unlock the second tier, and then from there we could focus on heavy weapon certification and demolitions. Both of these are going to be really good for this build. It's really up to you, whichever one that you go for first here. If you have a grenade launcher, go for demolitions. If you have a minigun or a heavy weapon, then go for heavy weapon certification. But this last perk is really what makes this so good for a tank build. It gives you 25% physical resistance while you are aiming down sights, and then also demolitions rank 3. It basically allows you to have so much reduction from damage from explosives, and then once you get rank 4 that doubles, so 50% reduced damage from explosives. Both of these are just really good tank perks, and they fit really well with this build. From there, we could go for rapid reloading. This will just reload all of our ballistic weapons 30% faster. This will get you to armor penetration, which we're just going to max this out. A really good perk here. Once you get later on in the game, you're going to find out that a lot of these enemies have a lot of armor, so having this perk becomes essential for late game. So you probably won't need this as much early on. Just focus on, getting these, but, after a while, I would say maybe like after level 40 or something, go for armor penetration and go and max that out. Next up is the science tree, and we actually have 2 really good perks here that are going to work well for a tank build, and that is medicine and spacesuit design. So you might not want to focus on these right away, but maybe like after level 10 you should start putting some points into medicine and unlocking the second tier and getting spacesuit design. And you only need to go for 3 ranks in spacesuit design. The 4th rank doesn't give you any kind of benefit here, but it's going to really help you because you're going to be able to put some good mods on your spacesuits, going to be able to just really give you more survivability that way. And that's why I focus on this one rather than weapon engineering. But if you're after level 60, weapon engineering is good to have, and then eventually you might want to put 1 point into special projects because this will give you some more experimental mods that you can add to spacesuits, or if you go for weapon mods after that. But yeah, medicine is really the most important one here. Having that last rank, being able to heal 50% additional health and 50% faster, it just makes you so good in combat, like to the point where you're only going to need to use probably 1 med pack, if any, and it's going to heal you up to the max. It really just synergizes well with the tank, and yeah, you guys are going to love medicine. It's probably one of the only times that I would focus on this perk because it just synergizes so well with all the damage mitigation of a tank. So yeah, focus on medicine here, and you're going to really enjoy that extra HP boost. The last tree is the social tree, and we're actually not going to focus on anything here. So manipulation was just from a quest, disregard that. But yeah, this is just one of those trees, like I mentioned to you guys in the last video. It's my least favorite tree. You either have to go all in with this and be like a diplomat, or just don't focus on this tree at all. The only thing that I could maybe recommend for a tank, because of the weapons that we're using, is maybe 2 ranks in scavenging, so that way you find additional ammo. So that might help you out if you are ammo hungry with using some of these heavy weapons. So that's maybe the only one I could recommend, 2 points in scavenging. Otherwise, don't really worry about this social tree. It's not really going to be too useful for you with this build. And yeah, that's basically the complete build up to level 60. So I hope you guys enjoyed this build, and yeah, give it a try. I mean, if you want a tank in this build, this is the proper way to go. I know that some of you might bring up melee weapons and some of the perks that melee weapons offer, but yeah, melee weapons are just so bad in this game. So even though they do have some tankier perks, once you get to a certain level where armor becomes a factor, you're just not going to be able to kill enemies with melee weapons. So I would stay away from melee weapons, just focus on what I gave you guys here, and I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching till the end, and recommend some additional builds that you guys want to see for not only Starfield, but also Baldur's Gate 3, and I will see you guys in the next video.